Injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident. They will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket. So when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine. Good Wednesday, May Day, right here on the Monty program. Stop being soft. The Monty Show, as always, presented by Jimmy's Hearing Aid Center. The Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates. No, friends, you only pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. So you can chat with an attorney live online, and it won't cost you a dime. No retainers, no consultation fees, just the best legal advice that you need. Man, when you got hurt at work, when you're wondering if you're going to lose your job, will you have the same job? Do you have to take a pay cut? Who's going to pay for your medical bills? Let the advocates worry about that so you can get back to the best version of yourself. Chat with an attorney at theadvocates.com. Good morning, 3-9er holes and stuff. Happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks, dude. Thanks. Yeah, great. Thanks.
Jake and his little Wobolita.
His little Obolita?
Yeah. You guys celebrated your 1 year of celibacy last night.
Uh-huh.
Was
right.
that enjoyable? Like, what'd you guys do?
I went golfing and made some dinner, and it was nice. Yeah.
What'd you have for dinner?
Nachos. Homemade nachos, actually.
Such a millennial thing. A lot to get to on the show this morning. An unbelievable performance last night out of the best player in the NBA right now, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Did the Knicks choke last night?
A little bit. Probably shouldn't have lost that game, but here we are.
Wow, that was a strong take, man. There's no more. That's just it. That's the whole.
Why,
that's the whole thing.
Why are you in hot take mode, guy? Today?
I'm not in hot take mode, guy. Today, sometimes you wake up a little fired up.
Stay hard,
and you're ready to go. That was a huge loss for the Knicks last night. Obviously, they still lead the series 3-2, but you cannot drop that game. You can absolutely, under no circumstances, drop that game. And you let Tyrese Maxey get in your head for 22 points in the fourth quarter, including a pretty amazing logo 3 at home. He dominated you. And now I think the Knicks find themselves in a situation where they're going to have to fight for their lives, because I feel like this is going 7 games.
Yeah, and I think that the only question that remains out of this game is Tyrese Maxey now stepping into stardom in the league? I mean, he's been somebody we've talked about a lot on the show, somebody who's been climbing, but I don't. Last night was awesome.
You should watch this show occasionally.
But just because you say he's a star doesn't mean
it makes it fact.
No,
it makes it fact.
That's the type of game Buddy had to have to step into stardom.
I've been riding the Maxey D for like a year now. I've been telling people, hey,
is it possible that they could ride the D?
Tyrese Maxey, bro, he is absolutely lethal. He is, I think, their most important player. I think you cannot count on Joel Embiid. I think Tyrese Maxey is their present and their future. And you've got to do everything you can do to surround him with talent that he can run with. And I don't know that in the long term, Joel Embiid, who now has all of these issues, back injury, knee injury, this Bell's palsy spell.
Yeah.
You can count on Tyrese Maxey. I don't know that you can count on Joel Embiid. But
I mean, that's fair. I mean, Embiid obviously has a long and documented injury history and deals with things on the regular. But when he's out there, I think he's pretty reliable. And that's the only question for Philly. When he's out there, how much is he going to be out there? And who can you go and get? Because I think if Tyrese Maxey can keep playing at this level, I would think that a team like Philly would be able to attract some guys.
Maybe James Hart. Oh, wait. I already did that. Harden leaves Philly and Tyrese got better.
Yep.
And as good as James has been for the Clippers, I think you had to let him go in Philly. And Tyrese Maxey has emerged now. You feel great about it. And I would also point out about the Donovan Mitchell last night.
Ye of bricking game-winning shots, that Donovan Mitchell.
He struggled significantly last night. And you look at, yes, he scored, what was it? I think he scored 28 points, Don. 9 of 23 and 1 of 7 from 3. 9 of 23. They shot 35% from 3, and Don was 1 of 7.
Now, on Prize Picks, Don was sensational. Don did his job last night on Prize Picks. So we had a nice night, 3-3.
Back-to-back nights I've won.
Yeah.
And you copied my picks exactly last night, so,
I copied your picks. Now, I know you don't ever watch the show, but I'm the one who said to go with Donnie.
No, you didn't.
I'm the one who said, hey, Brunson, that's probably going to be good on points, rebounds, assists.
Brunson would have won. Brunson was a winner last night.
Yeah.
1 of 7 from 3. Listen, it's okay if you want to ride the D. I'm telling you that I went 3 for 3 last night of my own doing and my own picks. And, you bring home $57 last night. That buys you a lot of homemade nachos.
Yeah. And they're very good.
Good. Is Donovan Mitchell a franchise level superstar?
I just don't think we can say that yet. I don't think we can say that yet. I think that the guy is really good, but I don't know. It just seems like he's got to get over that hump a little bit. He's got to prove that he can go out and win this series right here and right now. Where's the signature, Donovan Mitchell game that puts them into the next round? That type of over the top dominance that we know he's capable of, but seemingly never does. It's the Devin Booker conundrum. The guy will give you 40 and 9 on any given playoff night, but they can't seem 50. To win the ball game.
50. Excuse me.
Yeah. That's the problem.
But why did they win last night? The Cavs did win last night. And they won because no one player is going to carry a team through the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think Evan Mobley with that shot block, I think the way that Darius Garland stepped up last night, Max Strus had several big shots for them, even though the Strusinator was only 4 of 10 from 3. I mean, that one late was huge for them. So the Cavs are not one of the elite teams in the East. They are not. I think the Knicks and the Sixers are playing the best. I think this Kristaps Porzingis injury for Boston. I think Boston is in a very interesting situation with Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, I mean, losing him definitely hurts you. There's no question about it. And I think that, the only question is going to be how many games can Derek White save you? Obviously adding him was a big addition, but you can't rely on him for that type of offense night in and night out, dude. You're saying you can?
No, you can't. I think the biggest issue is not Derek White. The biggest issue is Jason Tatum is soft.
Yeah.
The biggest issue is Jaylen Brown's not an alpha male. That's your biggest. He's not a dominant player. Jaylen Brown's a complimentary player. Whether you want him to be or not, he's a complimentary player. And I just will continue to run out that there's something wrong with the Boston Celtics. That duo, they needed Kristaps Porzingis. They signed him for a reason. They brought him to Boston for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's because Tatum and Brown can't do it on their own. They've had how many chances now? And they can't do it on their own. So we can sit here and we can fantasize about how great Boston is, and Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's a very good player. But Jason Tatum's not a championship player. He's not. He's not a Jordan, a Kobe, a LeBron.
Yeah.
He's not that guy. And I think people in Boston, for obvious reasons, want him to be that guy. That doesn't make him that.
Yeah, and I think that's what's hard is like you've built around this guy. You obviously drafted those two, and you built this organization around those two. And every year you're in the playoffs and you're selling the building out, and everything's awesome from a revenue standpoint, but you're just not winning the games you want to be winning.
No.
And that's what's difficult, because the Celtics are obviously one of those brands that expects to win championships. And again, at some point, they're going to have to be willing to ship out one of those two. And it should be Jaylen Brown, but who the hell knows what they're going to do ultimately. I mean, it's all cool that Brad Stevens is out here winning, front office executive of the year, whatever the award was. But what really has he done to further them? Like, they've been getting under him. I believe it was one of the years they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, you've been here and done this already, but you haven't been to the NBA Finals. And that's where I say, hey man, like we as an organization have to make changes. We have to find a different formula, a formula that works better. And I don't know. Are they willing to trade Jaylen Brown? I don't know. But the day that happens is the day that they'll start to take another step forward through the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it's a matter of trading Jaylen Brown. I think it's a matter of understanding who you are and who do you want on your squad more. And I think that one of the biggest questions is, like I look at Jason Tatum, who's more valuable to them, Tatum or Brown?
Tatum.
I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a conversation. I don't even think it's a comparison. I think Tatum is that organization, and Brown is just out here trying to be part of it. That's what I think it is.
Yeah. Good news. Tiger just released his Sunday Reg collection.
Mm.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'd buy a sweater.
Okay. Bobby Fowler. Tatum doesn't have the dog in him. I'm a huge Celtics fan and he pisses me off. They don't have the dog in him. They don't. They're not killers. Jason Tatum's not a killer. He can be had.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, not a killer. He can be had. And I think the very fact that you were relying on Kristaps Porzingis, who's not been able to stay healthy over his career, tells you everything you need to know. And I continue to say the Boston Celtics are horribly flawed. The New York Knicks are a player away. The 76ers are one. If Joel Embiid pushes too hard when he's trying to fart, their season comes to an end. That's where you're at with the 76ers, right? Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen in the East. I think it's wide open. Milwaukee seemingly is showing signs of life. And if your crush, Damian Lillard, does come back here, and if Giannis, they say he's close, I think Milwaukee still has a chance to walk in and steal the East. Because if they get by Indiana, which all of a sudden Indiana doesn't seem like a team who wants to win that series.
Right.
I think Milwaukee's probably the odds-on favorite at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think it's hard to say, because even if those two guys do come back, like with Dame specifically, Achilles soreness, that's a tough one. That's tricky. That's a very day by day thing. That's not like, oh, hey, my wrist is sore, or like my thigh is sore. The Achilles is not one that you want to play with. And for Dame, risking potentially his career on a postseason run, I'm curious if that's worth it to him or not.
Risking his career, what do you mean risking his career?
If he blows his Achilles out at this age, he's never going to be the same guy.
Yeah,
no chance.
And I think he only came to Milwaukee and left Portland for what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To win a championship. So, my Achilles hurts. Well, you can rest in the summer or when you're dead, right? You only play NBA basketball to win a championship, right? Like you're not going to sit out because your Achilles is sore. Is it torn? Oh, okay, great. Then go play basketball. Like that's his whole existence. But, it's fine. Glenn, he of Hyundai ownership now, tweeting pictures of himself. Dude, you got to get some wheels on that car.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I'm going to keep seeing it real with you. I don't know what kind of, I'm not sure what is that? Is that a Brat or a Baja? What did you wind up getting?
Oh, that's it
looks like a Brat.
Yeah, it looks like the old school Brat, but it's like
we got to do wheels and tires on that car. You need to get to Big O Tires in American Fort because we got to get you a wheels upgrade.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah, you might want to get that thing painted too.
Yeah.
You also might want
to get that thing painted too.
You also might want to slap a Toyota logo on the front of that thing,
bro.
Maybe consider tinting. Redos. Yeah, maybe consider tinting the windows.
Good Lord.
Maybe just get something else entirely. I could be. You open yourself up for this stuff, Glenn. When you tweet pictures with your arms crossed, what are you, a fully functioning
Should we put
adult?
it on the show
No.
and see what people think of it?
No.
I mean,
no.
Where are we at with the, not the full size pickups, but the mid size?
No, where are we at with the pro rata that San Diego State Glenn deserves? Because listen,
this doesn't feel like the pro rata he deserves here. This feels like it's coming up a little short.
Well, says the guy. No. There. So you guys see what I mean? Here's Glenn in front of his new car. New wheels, new tires, nothing to talk about. Definitely need a new paint job.
Dude.
What, did you throw up on the car before you took this picture?
Chill.
What was it? Was it split pea soup day at the dealership? Was it moldy avocado day at the dealership? I'm kidding. That's actually kind of a cool ride. My wife would love that car. She loved her little Brat, and when Jake was just a child, he was a Brat. She loved her little Brat.
Right.
But that's cool. Why,
What made you go with that one, Glenn?
I'm hoping you don't say the color or the wheels. But I mean, could be a lucky guess.
By the way, what are you throwing in the bed of this Hyundai Santa Cruz?
The hose.
Well,
congratulations, Glenn. Beautiful car. Happy for you. Santa Cruz, he says.
Yes.
It's sore. Quit picking on me. Okay. J2H, congratulations on 1 year of celibacy.
Thank you. I, unlike you, don't have any loners. So,
Eric and Raleigh, I want winners. Dame's Achilles. No. When's parade? I want to go home.
No. When is parade?
I want to go home.
I need to go home.
Direct quote from Dame's Achilles tendon.
I need to go home.
Pollyanna, good morning on Facebook. I find it hard to believe that Shohei Ohtani knew nothing. The time span was too long, and it was not like it was just one isolated transaction. No, it was multiple. They're talking about $16 to $20 million and $500,000 at a time. Wait until you hear that update. We'll definitely get into that.
Monty, he had no idea.
Big Blue Horses. The hockey games were more entertaining than the basketball games last night. I would just like to this morning raise a glass to Marchand being a fucking jagoff and watching the.
So wait, did you want Boston to win that series, or you want the Leafs to win that series?
I would give your left nut if Toronto finds a way to win that series.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I hate everything about Boston when it comes to hockey. I hate the Bruins. I hate the fact that we look at Brad. I'm a POS Marchand. Oh, legend, guys. No, you're not.
Okay, fuck you.
Yeah, no, you're not. If you want to watch a guy score a goal, buy a ticket. Jerk off. That guy is so annoying to me. Like, he's one of those guys that if he fell on the third rail, I'd be like, oh, bummer, dude. Good luck. Like, I'm not. I ain't pissing on that dude if he's on fire. I'm not doing it.
This is the same guy who was out here like messing with Connor Bedard when Bedard first came in the league and like just plays all the classic NHL hockey player antics.
I can't stand him. I cannot stand him in any way, shape, or form. And I would just like people to understand that any day the Boston Bruins lose, I am, it is a good day. And that they lost 2-1 in overtime, and they did that at home. And now you have to go to a game 6 in Toronto.
Yeah.
Go Leafs. I'm a hundo P about it.
Yeah.
And screw Vancouver last night. Screw you.
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
It would only help if Brad Marchand was on Vancouver and they lost. That would be almost the trifecta. And then the team bus for the Red Wings broke down and they could no longer compete in the NHL. Now we're cooking with gas.
I'm going to say this again.
Right? But Vancouver lost last night. Boston lost last night. Marchand watched the goal go in. I mean, it was one of those moistening moments where you just had to take it all in and let your chest expand in greatness. Now, tonight, if the LVG don't get the job done, I will be a little disappointed.
The LVG.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That's what the hip kids call them. The LVG.
What is this? Call of Duty team names? Like
huge game in Dallas.
Tarrant County.
No.
What's the problem?
Anyway, huge game at the AAC in Dallas. Stars and LVG. Let's go. Get it done in Vegas.
Yeah.
Get it done in Vegas.
Not the
I
way
am
Ohtani
here for
did,
it.
But like the way they do it in the NHL.
Shohei Ohtani is getting a free pass. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. You know, that needs a classic El Camino. It does kind of have the El Camino on it. Do you know what an El Camino is?
I
no,
do.
you have no idea.
I do.
John Dry, Jake isn't practicing carnal knowledge. He's a virgin guy. He's saving himself for marriage.
The cock.
He's a good young Christian boy.
That's bullshit.
Who has got real American values.
Macaque.
Deep inside of his soul, which means he probably wrestled at Ohio State with Jim Jordan, but that's a different show. My point is that Jake is saving himself.
Right.
So that he can wear white to his wedding.
Right.
He is, and I will give you credit. You are vigilant. I mean, it's wow. I'm very proud of you.
Ain't no reset.
You know.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Appreciate the support.
Okay. Who pissed off who to start the damn hockey talk? Hockey talk is good.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremiah Champion, morning people, hit that like button. Let's do it. While we talk to you about the NCAA sharing profits with athletes. And I was rather surprised yesterday that more than one red ass showed up in the comment section to say that student athletes don't deserve profits. Because I think this is a very interesting conversation.
Uh-huh.
Note that profit sharing is different than name, image, and likeness. Profit sharing is different than... Who's texting you, man?
OSU James.
What does he want?
He's not texting me. He's tagging me in reels on Instagram. To which my only question is, James, this is retreaded material, bro. This is the same video you posted on Twitter and you're tagging me on Instagram today? Be better, dude.
You're the one who said you love him.
Be better, dude. See, you totally sidetracked and derailed Monty's takeover here. Like, dude, you can't retread yesterday's material. That doesn't work.
Should athletes in college sports be paid profit sharing? I think the answer is maybe. The NIL, I think these kids should make as much money off of their own name, image, and likeness as possible. Millions, tens of millions, knock yourself out. But when we start talking about taking a pot, and it's been widely reported by Yahoo, Pete Thamel at ESPN, many people are reporting it's a $20 million profit sharing cap. You can spend as much as $20 million on profit sharing. Here's the problem. One, let's get a couple of things squared away. This has nothing to do with universities like Arizona who lose money. If you lose money and you don't make money and there are no profits, you're not sharing. If you're in the G5, because largely, and I'm pretty certain, I haven't seen the numbers obviously for this past year, but 9 out of 10 G5s do not profit. They do not make money. They lose money on athletics. They pay for athletics through student fees, tuition, tickets, concessions from Oak State James. That's how they make it possible. For most of these G5 universities don't make money. That is something that's really important. We're not talking about stick and ball sports. We're not talking about lacrosse, badminton, swimming, the chess club. We're mainly talking about football and basketball because those are the only two sports. And really it's football because a lot of basketball programs, even at the P5 level, are not making money. So again, we're really just talking about football because most P4 now programs are profitable to some level. Should you, who made the most money last year? I think Ohio State.
Yeah, I believe it was Ohio State.
Are you telling me that Ohio State should give away 20% of their profits to their players? I think they should. I think if you're making $250 million on athletes, that's a thing.
Yeah, well, I think the hard part is without the athlete, you're not getting to the college football playoff. You're not getting to, the postseason in college football. And I think that's the difficult part to get away from. If you're the administrator or the university, hey, obviously, your regular season stuff, you were going to play either way. Right. So I'm not so sure that when it comes to profit sharing, that athletes should be entitled to that portion of the season. But I think it's an interesting conversation because if you start to consider, hey, well, if Ohio State wasn't able to recruit and wasn't able to get the kind of athlete they can get, they wouldn't be the school that they are. So it kind of goes both ways. I feel like you can sit on both sides of the fence and make an argument for either side. But my opinion is that, yeah, the without the student athlete, you're not getting to the national championship. You're not getting to the college football playoff. You're not certainly going to the bigger bowl games or New Year's Six bowls or what have you. So to me, I think profit sharing should be a conversation in postseason, and it should be a conversation around winning. If you win, you should get more. But if you lose and you're terrible, I just don't. I just don't know how.
If you're Garbo,
if you're Garbo, I don't know how we can sit here and be like, yeah, we should definitely be profit sharing like that. That doesn't work. And I think what's difficult is, once again, even inside of this conversation, you can already start to see hey, well, what happens if we're not talking about an Ohio State level school? What if we're talking about a lower level school?
But what if you're talking about a school that makes, $125 million? I mean, 20% of that, you start doing the math, you guys break that down. If you're making, hey Siri, what is 8% of 100? I can't help you with that. Hey Siri. My beauty queen. I can't help you with that.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Siri, you're being an asshole. Hey, Siri. What is 8% of $125 million? Hey Siri.
Shut up, Donnie.
What is 8% of $125 million?
The answer is $10 million.
So if you're making if your budget's $125 million, That's a lot of money to give away.
Uh-huh.
And if you're you don't care, right? If you are, what's a lower level P5? If you're Georgia Tech, if you're, Vandy, different situation. They're not going to be profitable in anything.
Yeah.
But if you're Oklahoma State,
Yeah.
if you're Texas Tech, if you're UCF,
Baylor,
if you're Baylor, think about that. What if your athletic budgets are $100 million and you're giving away $20 million of that money? Bro, that's a lot of bread. $20 million for a university that's got a $100 million budget is not sustainable.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, like, I'm curious, can these universities help themselves through sales? Like, can you backfill this line item, if you will, this money you have to set aside through selling more? Like, that's what I'm really curious about. Like, what are schools going to be allowed to do to backfill? Because that backfilling is going to have to happen. And again, this is why I say winning matters so much, because if you win, you don't have to have this conversation. But if it's no longer good enough to be the heritage brand that doesn't win right now. Like, you kind of have to at least get to major bowl games, or in an expanded college football situation that we're about to get, you have to get into the college football playoff, even if you just win, or even if you just play in one game, you don't even win one game. So that's why I say it's difficult, because let's say that schools did invest in like a sales department, and you went all in on that, and you pulled out a ton of money out of the local community, and you got some national opportunities. Dude, backfilling $20 million, I don't think people understand how difficult that is. Like, $20 million in sales for, again, Baylor or whatever brand you want to use, Texas Tech, let's say. I mean, that's a lot of effort. And by the way, I'd just like to point out, you're talking about $20 million in profit after you pay the sales folks, after you've covered your costs and done all the things you need to do. So that's what I'm saying. It's no small feat. So the only real question here for the school is, what is this process going to look like the first year this gets rolled out?
I look at Mississippi State, who made $110 million in revenue, and you're looking for fiscal year 2022. Mississippi State reported $110,653 in revenue. You're going to take $20 million of that, and you're going to hand that to a student. That's a lot of money out of $110 million in revenue, and then you shave $20 million off of that. That's called cutting a sport. If you look at, if the top, Alabama made $214.3 million, they're not going to probably blanket $20 million. But you start looking at the lower tier, the lower half. Arkansas made $152.5 million. $20 million, that's a huge slice of their revenue. And it's not, I don't believe that it is sustainable. And if you start looking at the profits and the money that was made in the Big 12, Houston made $78 million. And in 2022, their total expenses were $73 million. So now if we add $20 million on top of that, you're now negative.
Yeah.
You're Cincinnati, you made $83 million. Their total expenses were $75 million. You add $20 million to that. Now you're pushing $100 million in expenses and $83 million in profit.
Yeah, and that's
revenue.
the key. That's the key thing here, is that it's revenue versus profit. We're not talking about, hey, well, they made $120 million in profits, and now their profits getting cut to 90. No, that's not what we're saying. It's $120 million in revenue, and most of these schools are operating, within a $1 to $5 million profit line, on any given year. So throwing in a $20 million cost is not good.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do $20 million across the board. And how do you fix this? Well, I don't know how many more times I can say it. You got to create a God tier. You got to have the Super League. You have to bring in private money.
Yeah.
You have to make more commercial efforts and endeavors, and you have to create revenue streams through other sports. And it's all the stuff we've been talking about, because we can sit here and we can play this fantasy about, well, Monty, them kids are getting an education. It doesn't matter. This lawsuit settlement that is inevitably coming will not save the NCAA. It will not. What will save the NCAA is you are going to have to indemnify them now against future action.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to have to find a way to roll all these NIL lawsuits into one settlement, and it's going to be billions of dollars, but you have to do it. You can't just keep exposing the NCAA and these universities to lawsuits. So for all the people who are like, well, Greg Sankey's going to end the NCAA. How's he going to do that? Do you think his member institutions in the SEC are like, yeah, let's end the NCAA and lose our antitrust exemption and protections? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. There's no way to spin this. These universities need protections. And the only way to get that is to create a larger, greater revenue generating operation. And to everybody who says, well, the Super League's bullshit, that's never going to happen. Tell me how it's not going to happen now. And we'll call it whatever it winds up being called. If it's the Super League, the God tier, hey, here's a bunch of people with more money than you, whatever you want to call it, they're going to pay players.
Yeah.
And if it's the Ohio States, the Bamas, the Georgias of the world, the Texases of the world, okay, great. But at some point, you got to do something to protect the lower end of the P4. And I know it's not popular, but I'll continue to tell you, the G5 needs to have their own championship. We keep talking about making sure that the G5's got access to the national championship. No, that's over with. Because somebody tell me how in Fresno, Kentucky, they're going to afford $15 to $20 million. How are you in Logan, Utah? Do you know how expensive Aggie tiers are? How are you in Logan, Utah going to come up with $20 million to pay players? Because you're more worried about your ag department than you are your football department.
Absolutely.
How are you going to do that? How's South Dakota State going to do this? How are our friends in Laramie going to do this? The G5 needs to have its own thing. Because whether you're profitable or not, if you don't pay your players, you're not going to compete because you won't have the top talent.
Yep.
So we can sit here and we can fantasize, oh, well, Monty, they're not profitable. They won't have to pay those bills. They also won't have very good football players. They won't have very good basketball players. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. That's really what this comes down to.
Yeah, and what that's going to do is that's going to put, the lower end school in a position where they're going to choose not to. They're going to choose to, because again, you can't forget the overreaching dynamic here, which is that this is just athletics. That this is not talking about academia. This isn't talking about like what the school's main function is, which is to educate people. Right? We're just talking about one section of a greater budget at a university that's trying to be reasonably profitable and not losing like 20, 30 mil a year. And so that's why I say, again, for the Baylors of the world or, whoever you want to point to, if they haven't been winning and they don't have that culture already in place, they're not going to be, you're
in real trouble, man.
Yeah. Like you're not going to be thrilled to be trying to figure out how to get this done and how to accommodate this. And that's why I say, I think there's a conversation at the school level, at like the chancellor level of a school. Hey, how do we turn athletics and our athletic department into a sales operation that just happens to play sports, because that's where we're going with this. And I know everyone's like, oh, well, hey, it's college and student athletes, and we can't make it too much like pro sports, but we're already there. We're literally already there. We're talking about super leagues and private money, and because it's necessary, not because we want to, but because it is necessary for the sport to continue to move forward. To which I say, none of the other non-revenue generating sports even matter in this conversation, because all that matters is making sure that you have enough money running through your football program so that you can pay for other sports or whatever it might be. Because the academia are getting billions through grants and all these other things. That's why you never hear about it. Notice you never hear about a school. Notice the school never says, well, we're struggling to pay professors. We're struggling to pay for books and pencils and all the things that, academia needs. No, they're not struggling for that, because they have decades upon decades of funding just chilling there to pay for all that stuff.
I think you don't have to want a super league or like a super league, or as we call it on this here program, a God tier.
Yeah.
But it's here already. We're already living in this world, because who's pushing to pay players a pot of money per university of $15 to $20 million? Well, according to Pete Thamel, it's the SEC and the Big Ten. So why does Greg Sankey not want to talk about a God tier? Well, he's already got one.
He's already doing it. Like, it's already his thing.
And I struggle with this, where people want to say, well, if you're not making money, you're either are a have or a have not, right? And I love in the comment section yesterday, well, they're getting scholarship money, Monty. Well, really, scholarships in I want to say it might have been Ryan Leaf. I don't want to put that in his mouth, but I can't remember. A former athlete told me, an NFL player told me, all scholarships are is money laundering. And I tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shell game, right? Is scholarship money real? Well, it's not like the athletic department is like, all right, here's your $50,000 for Jimmy the quarterback, and here's your $20,000 for Teddy the lineman. It essentially is, hey, you can send this many kids to school for free as long as they play football. And it's a game where you move money around. Do you think scholarships are even applicable in these conversations? They're not. It has nothing to do with it. So this idea that we're paying the kids with a scholarship, you're not. Last time I checked, you're not cutting a kid whatever his tuition bill is every year and putting that in his pocket.
Oh.
Right? So you're not already paying players. Enough of that nonsense. And there were 10 of them in the comment section yesterday. That's not paying a player. And the idea that these lawsuits are not justified. They're justified because you told kids that you were the one that were allowed to profit, and the kid was not on his own image and likeness. When you put him in a video game and sold that video game based on him being in the video game. So we can sit here and we can spin. The reality is NIL and profit sharing are two different conversations. You are going to allow kids to get paid on their name, image, and likeness. That's over with. My biggest question is, how soon does profit sharing push us into a super league? It's been saying it for months now. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I believe it's already happening. And I think it's just a matter of time before private money powers college football. I think that's really what this comes down to.
Yeah, because there's so many more options with private money. I mean, it can be as simple as, this company donated this amount of money to our football program. What are they going to be the sponsor of? Or
well,
what,
it's even more than that. To me, it is, hey, we're going to create this new entity, a for-profit entity that all of these universities are going to have an ownership stake in, right? And these wealth funds are going to power that. They're going to have an ownership stake in it and be a full share partner. And the universities and the private money people are going to split the profits. And part of the expenses are going to be absolutely, positively health insurance and one of the interesting conversations I've been having with a buddy of mine that works in the industry is, how do you determine how long do you have to pay for this kid's knee injury, his neck injury, his whatever injury? Well, until it's not an injury anymore, right? So there is going to be a quality of life component. What is this kid's pay going to be? Well, he's going to make X amount of money because he's a quarterback. The line, like I think they're going to have a pay tier. And when it comes to NIL, I think the school is going to coordinate, the university, the athletic department will coordinate all NIL for all of its athletes.
Right.
And they will charge you a fee for that. And if you want to opt out of that, you are welcome to do so. But it's going to limit your ability to do a car deal because Toyota is the official automotive partner of Jimmy's Technical Institute of Dick Washing.
Right.
Where you play football. So I think that's how it's going to be, because the problem with NIL is that the school's branding partners are right now currently limited in their ability to do a car deal because he isn't Toyota. He's got a Lamborghini deal from Calvin's luxury car market. So all of this is going to become one as part of a new private entity, in my opinion. Yeah. That's the only way you fix this. It's the only way it happens. It's the only way that everybody wins.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It makes a lot of sense. You can see how it works. The only other thing that comes to my mind is just like in that situation you were just describing where the kid's already got a car deal for him individually, and then the school wants to do a school-wide one, how that sort of works and how much flexibility the player is going to have to, because obviously brands are going to, brands right now reach out to kids, and I'm sure there will be a rule saying, hey, everything's got to go through the school to get to the kid, but you can't tell me that that's going to keep businesses from DMing kids. It's
directly. Interesting. I think that's going to be very interesting. And I think one of the things that is going to change is this idea that, it's interesting you talk about like what's the process on NIL, because you're starting to see these rules where, well, the university has to sign off. Well, Monty, we can't have Pornhub endorsing my quarterback. Okay, great. I agree. Is it adult material, tobacco and alcohol is forbidden? Okay, so I don't have to call you and get your permission to do a deal with Mercedes-Benz. No, it's not going to work that way. All NIL deals are going to have to be approved.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really interesting when you start to talk about like NIL's origins were, hey, it's supposed to be for the kid. The kid is making money on their name, image, and likeness, and it's more of an individual thing.
But like the rich guys got screwed in that situation.
And I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's where I think the dynamic comes into play. Like, hey, if we're gonna, if NIL, Portal, Super League are all working together to make a boatload of money for the big boys, and the kids benefit from that, that's great, obviously. But it just begs the question, like, what are the best quarterbacks in college football? The Shedeur Sanders right now is an example. If he wants to do a deal on his own with Rolls-Royce, let's say, or with whatever the huge brand is that reached out to him specifically, are you really telling me that it has to go through the school and the school has to approve that? That's where and that may be the case. I'm just saying I think that's the only other thing where there could potentially be some butting of heads. Like, hey, man, I'm one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I should be able to go out and do a deal with a like these charter jet deals that I always talk about.
NetJets.
Yeah, NetJets, right? Like NetJets is out here signing all these quarterbacks and doing all these things. So it's a really interesting proposition because I think running it through the school is better for the greater good. It's better for like most athletes.
But it's also what I said yesterday. Travel's a huge part of this because there is going to be this players association that we talked about at UAB yesterday. There's going to be this players union association. They're going to mandate that, all profit generating sports travel by charter. And to get that done, you're going to have to do deals with Delta. You're going to have to do deals with United. You're going to have to do deals with NetJets because they're not, you're in a position now where you're playing pro sports.
Yeah.
We are going to have the NCAA championship of football on Saturday and the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Yeah, and I just don't know why there's such a hesitancy to say that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, we have a stigma around saying, hey, like college football is pretty much a pro sport. Like, because it is pretty much a pro sport. Like, do these kids go to class and stuff? Yeah, sure. But let's not pretend like these kids are not adults. Like, they're over 18. They can make their own decisions. These are not idiots. They may be young and sometimes make mistakes. Absolutely. But like, they are adults and this can be treated like a pro sport. Absolutely.
See, in this argument right here, I don't know what you and Eric are going back and forth about. If we want to treat these guys like pro athletes, then cut out the educational middleman because that isn't without a monetary value attached to it. Yeah, it is without monetary value. Yes, it is. I don't understand this. This is, again, in the comments section yesterday, there was a big argument about this. Without the kid playing the sport, there is no profit. Which is why these lawsuits are creating so much leverage against NCAA membership. We live in this draconian belief that a kid should deal with lifelong brain injuries and joint injuries because we gave them an education. The education, while not lacking in any value, the problem is that benefit, because that's what it is. It isn't anything more than, in today's world, the education that you get as an athlete is an extra benefit. It is what you at a baseline have earned already before you go to one class. You earned that already. It's not a gift. It's not like something, well, we're giving you an education and I'm giving you profit from EA Sports and CBS and NBC and ESPN. Because without Michael Penix, without name your player, there is no profit.
And by the way, it goes without saying that, again, these kids are paying the price that cannot be monetized on any level, which is their body. And how many bodies have paid the price over the decades, right? Like thousands, hundreds of thousands. Like, I mean, there's no, you want to say, hey, well, they're getting value through the education we're giving them. Well, what value are you getting out of them sacrificing their body to make you money?
We're talking about pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't understand. Like, I agree with the point that you made about what your buddy had said. Like, yeah, the scholarship situation is low-key money laundering.
It is.
You never see, it's not like they're like, okay, this one section on our P&L goes to this kid. They may say that, but that doesn't mean it's true.
You
That's
understand
just the public-facing look. You
understand how scholarships work. There is no actual cash changing hands.
Yeah.
A university, not unlike the history department, not unlike the mathematics department, is the athletic department. And under the athletic department, all of these sports, when I was going to college, I contemplated going to the University of Illinois to play baseball for, I think, 20-something%, if a quarter scholarship. 25% of my tuition would be paid if I played baseball. So what does that mean? Okay, that means that I am a line item in the athletic department's budget. That doesn't mean the athletic department is cutting me a check. That doesn't mean that the athletic department is cutting a check to the university or that the university is cutting a check to the athletic department. It basically means you're entering a kid into a system and you're saying, yep, don't send a tuition bill to his mom. He's here for free because he plays sports.
But think about what you just said too, right? You were contemplating going to University of Illinois on a 20% scholarship. So the reason I point that out is to defeat this argument right here. Because what is the school saying by giving you that valuation? They're saying we believe that you're only worth 20% coverage based on your talent level and what your recruitment is and what your star level is. And so like if a university says, hey, we're going to give you a full ride scholarship, we're going to cover 100% of your costs to come to Yee University, USC, whatever.
Why do we always come to these conversations? Well, this kid doesn't deserve to make money. Without the school, the kid has no opportunity.
Actually, I would disagree with that on so many levels. In basketball, we don't need college basketball. Do you understand? There are like,
it's wild to me.
What, 5 different routes to get to the league right now?
It's like look at this comment from Axe. Have you seen the majors of most student athletes? They're not exactly graduating with STEM or medical degrees.
Because they don't want to.
Wait. That's complete bullshit. So now we're going to judge a kid based on the fact he's an athlete and he chose whatever program you're referring to. How many kids went and got a oceanography degree because they romanticized being the next Jacques Cousteau and then figured out they can't make a penny doing that? So now they're paying off student loan debt. Like, who cares what they major in? We don't say, well, listen, if you want to be a quarterback at Notre Dame, you got to go to medical school.
And by the way, if they're not getting those major degrees, doesn't that mean it costs the school less money to educate the kids?
And shouldn't we judge the normal garden variety student who also took the same culinary classes the football player took, or the same whatever you're talking about? Why do we care? I can tell you, dude, you know how many athletes I know in college that are taking massive class load? Do you know how difficult it is to be a football player at an institution like BYU? Do you know how difficult school can be at BYU? You go and get yourself an MBA from the Marriott School of Business while playing football, because I know guys who have done that. Go to Notre Dame. And I've talked about this on the show before. Back in my day when I was college age, I worked with a guy who was just a cheerleader at Notre Dame and got a small scholarship. Do you know what a struggle it was for that kid to travel with the football and basketball teams and still get a passing grade? Where remember, when you're a student, if your grade point average falls below a certain amount, your scholarship becomes jeopardized. So if you think that because they took culinary, because they took physio classes, that somehow is a free pass or a slight or an indictment against them, no, it is not. No, it is not. And again, why are we judging the kid? I'm wide open to this conversation if I'm wrong about this. The NCAA is making billions of dollars on these kids, and they shouldn't get anything more than a scholarship and a Pell Grant. Do you know how many people believe that? They shouldn't get anything more than their scholarship, and well, they also get room and board, Monty. They're covering their books and their pencils. Okay, well, who's paying for food? Because I've talked about this on the show as well. That before we actually came into modern era about 5-10 years ago, or 7 years ago, do you understand that it was an NCAA violation? And Kyle Gunther used to talk about this on K-Fan all the time. It was a violation to have more than one chicken sandwich off the training table.
How?
A violation. I have had this conversation with other people who have talked about the fact that there used to be, you remember those plastic hospital containers of orange juice that had like the tinfoil top? You could have one of those, a bottle of water, and a chicken sandwich. And if you took more than that, you have to self-report or somebody turns you in, and that's an NCAA violation. Do you understand what I'm talking about? $1 billion operation is scrimping and saving on the nutrition the kid is eating. And you don't want to pay that kid, and you don't think he should have the right to make money off his name, image, and likeness. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It is asinine.
What are we doing?
Truly.
This just blows my mind that we're making billions of dollars for rich guys and the kid can't afford to eat. Because up until how many years ago, that was reality.
Yeah, what it was. I mean, I think it was still in effect in like 2010.
It's
like late 2000s there.
It's wild to me.
Yeah, like it wasn't that long ago.
We used to have a situation when I covered a college team that will remain nameless. We used to have a situation on a major college football team where one of the kids, his parents owned a chain of restaurants. And they used to give the football team, everybody on the football team, used to get a meal card for those restaurants. And those kids could go into that restaurant and eat for free. Because most of the kids on that team could not afford meal money. And the other funny part about that is that brings back another story. So they supposedly feed you on road trips, but certain college football programs gave their kids meal money. Instead of spending it on food, they would put it in their pocket and either give it to their parents or pay for things like their cell phone bill because they couldn't afford their cell phone bill. And we're arguing over should they get the right to make money on their name, image, and likeness.
I think it's insulting. Like I think it's
God damn.
It is terrible.
It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy that we go through this stuff. Chad Carter says, Aaron, it's not Caps Lock Friday. Because seriously. OG Gary, STEM degrees are not flexible with scheduling. The bullshit degrees these athletes do are mad flexible and have flexibility. It's on the school to make the STEM majors be more flexible. Could be.
But what does that have to do with
the other thing that these, while they went to culinary class? Do you understand how difficult it is just on a baseline to be a college football player and a college student at the same time? Do you know how difficult that is? And then ask yourself if you can do that at Duke, Stanford, anywhere in the Ivy League, pretty much anywhere in the Pac-12. It's not easy to do that. Do you understand that, like, stick and ball sports are on the road for like 2 weeks at a time? And they're taking tests on iPads.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Steve Stepanek, I had a friend that punted for Division I school that had a running back that he was so dumb they told him run right or left. He never went to class and wasn't smart enough. Okay.
And the point is?
The point is, so is a free education not worth it? No, it is not worth it. It is not worth. The only reason, do you guys understand the racket that is professional football in this country? What's the only route to the NFL draft?
There's one.
It's playing college football. Can you skip college and go right to the NFL? You cannot. You have to go through the system.
Oh, you don't want to play college football? Oh, you can go. Oh, that's right. Nowhere. That's
you can't. Right. You won't get drafted if you don't play college football. You won't get invited to the combine. It's insanity.
It's a monopoly. Like, and that's fine. But just give the kids their money, bro.
Are you saying that these kids shouldn't go play football if all they get is a degree? Isn't NIL enough too? I'm not saying that. Let's not get crazy. What I'm telling you is You're making billions of dollars on these kids. Why are you so hesitant to give them part of the pie? Why immediately when NIL got introduced, what did the universities do? They tried to grab it and they tried to control it and they tried to take their part of the. Why should universities get part of a kid's NIL money when the kid doesn't get part of the university's profits? So you're not going to pay him profits he's making you. You're not going to allow him to profit off his name, image, and likeness without taking a percentage of that. And now we're going to argue that the education is, you guys.
On top of the fact, you're probably only paying most kids like 40, 50% scholarship. Come on now.
This is just crazy to me.
This is not difficult to understand.
It's crazy to me. Mike Smith, Mountain Mama. Is a scholarship worth more going to Stanford, Yale, or Harvard versus going to Wake Forest, Iowa State, or Minnesota? I don't think so.
But I think it depends on what your scholarship and what your degree is.
Do you want to be a lawyer?
Yeah. Like,
you probably want to go to Harvard.
Yeah.
Right? Or, but do you want to be an Olympic swimmer? Well, then I'm going to Stanford. Well, do I want to be a defensive back in the NFL? I'm probably going to Nick Saban in Alabama or Kyle Whittingham at Utah. It's all about what path you're trying to take. Do I want to be a Major League Baseball player? Yeah, I'm probably trying to get drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
Do I want to be an NBA basketball player? Well, maybe I go to college, but maybe I go to Australia. Maybe I go to the G League. Maybe I go to Europe and play in Germany or Spain. Oh, I want to play in the NFL? I got to go play college football.
For 3 years, bro.
There's not an option. And the physical development, the maturity, they totally understand it. But it doesn't change the fact that's the only avenue you have to take. And they're in cahoots with each other. Boston Mapes, I don't judge kids on their degree. Most of the time, it's the school that pushes them into easy classes to keep them on the field. It should be an indictment on the school, not the student.
Yes. Yes.
We systematically in this country, we're pretty well broken. If I am a scholarship level athlete in any sport, I should be able to say, well, hey, I want to be an astronaut. So I need to study science and math or I want to be a lawyer. So that's the path I'm going to take. Me and my parents have talked about it. Here's what this and here's what that. And I want to get my MBA. I want to be whatever you want to be. But I agree with Mapes. A lot of times, well, you know what, man? You're going to be an NFL player, which almost never happens. You're going to be an NFL player. So let's make sure that we get you into lettuce chopping and rotini making. AP, rotini making. Okay, let's get you into STEM level sewing classes. That happens all the time. There was a particular kid at a particular college I covered who had no business going to college at that university, was not academically capable, but man, that kid was fast. And he was going to do the summer school system that I've always loved. Well, you know what? You didn't do well in the academic year. Fall camp starts August, and your mom, we're going to need you to stay at that JUCO, and we're going to need you to get an A in math this summer school, or we're not going to let you play football here. So the kid goes and gets, the very last point that he needs to get into that university. And what happened? He went to 3 classes all year long. Now he played 2 years in the NFL, but didn't get an education. Didn't make tens of millions of dollars in the NFL. And now what? How many kids were washouts that, well, you're going to be an NFL star, kid, and then never made the NFL and didn't go to class, so he didn't get his education?
Right.
So we can sit here and talk about the value of education. The fucking school doesn't value the education. The school is not saying, hey, you know what? Chances are, Jimmy, you're not going to play in the NFL. We need to make sure that we set you up for future success. No, we need to make sure you're on the field. So, yeah, we can't have you, I understand you want to be an astronaut, but that AP Chem class is a real ball breaker.
Yeah.
But, the funny thing is, and I don't know how you feel about this, we have this class over here where we teach you how to put eyelets on shoelaces. Challenging. You got big knobby fingers, bud, but we can get you through that one. How many times does that happen?
Yeah.
That happens a lot. Oak State James, FTR. No idea what
For the record.
Should I just skip this comment? Because I'm sure James is weirding out that I haven't read his paid comment. Sorry about earlier trying to be funny. You're neither fat nor Mormon. Profit sharing, I'm okay with that. Oak State will just charge for beer. More for beer. Okay.
Did he call you fat?
He did. Aaron Wilson gifted a Monty Show membership. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that.
Okay. Comment section's got the weird vibe today.
It does. Underwater basket weaving at K-State. LOL back in the day. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Mike Smith. I took that class, but had to quit due to swimmer's ear. This was before I could use the advocates to file a workman's comp claim.
See what he did there? See, that's how you make the show better.
Stepanek. Travis Kelce went back to Cincinnati to get his degree, recently graduated.
Good for him.
He's also banging Taylor Swift and her bank account. He's also won multiple Super Bowl championships. And he is I would guess at this point, $100 millionaire.
Yeah.
But that's everybody. Every kid that comes out of college that doesn't graduate. I mean, they're $100 millionaire, right? How many of these kids go on to be Travis Kelce? Not many. Gigatti. Good morning, sir. Giggy, thank you for your service. How many people in this chat have played at any level of college athletics?
Yeah.
Good question. James, we tried to have water polo at Oak State, but the stool water isn't clear enough to play under, right? I mean, you couldn't see the ball under the...
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting, dude.
But 3 horses died, so we had to stop. See, that's a joke, like water polo. I mean, you put the horses in the pool. You could play polo
stick and ball sports, on
a horse. The horse couldn't.
Yeah.
The horse couldn't swim. Mike Smith, rifle team at West Virginia, making bank at the end of the barrel.
See what he did there? That's like a gun reference.
Okay, look, Tommy.
Monty?
Here at West Virginia, we're going to need you to major in clean coal. Now, we're going to pay for all of the hoses in the water, as well as the scrub brushes you're going to need to pass the clean coal class. Okay? You just walk out there, scrub that coal, but don't you ask be late to practice. So you clean that coal real quick, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. And only one chicken sandwich today, fat ass. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. No. Nothing?
No.
Okay. Final verdict here. Should athletes share in the profit of their universities?
If they're making it to the postseason, yes.
No, they should not. NIL is where kids should make their money. I believe that. Now, don't get me wrong. This is happening, and it's an arms race. There's no question about it. But in my opinion, when we start sharing in profits with each one of these athletes, now it just means that Jimmy's going to become a chip, and they're going to offer him more profit sharing at X university.
Right.
Like Ollie Gordon is going to be offered more of the profit at Auburn than he was at Oak State, where James is still combing the lice out of Mike Gundy's mullet. So I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest issue I have, is that it's going to be a situation where you're going to have negotiations, and again, unintended consequences. Jimmy, the running back, I'm going to give you $2 million a year out of our profits, but you're not allowed to transfer, and we control your NIL. Now, I'm going to give you $2 million in profit every year, but we get 86% of your NIL revenue.
Yeah.
That's what this is going to turn into, unintended consequences.
Yep.
Because at some point, they're going to have to sign contracts.
Yes, they are.
And But Monty, they're kids. Well,
Not anymore.
it is what it
It's
is.
what you always say, right? If you're going to take the bag, the man is going to put his thumb on you.
Dakota Tubbs, Monty, we've been agreeing the whole time. I'm sure we haven't. I'm sorry. I mean, who? Oh, you mean you and Big Daddy Vladdy? Got it. San Diego State, Glenn, I have an intramural flag football championship from college. Does that count? Well, listen, man. I know that you were the center on the flag football team, and that's important. Lee Jensen, hello. Aaron Wilson, Texas Tech runs meat judging competitions. Come get your meat judged. Who are you? Northwestern? Giggity. Aaron, I'll throw my meat on the table for that competition. Boy. Andy Blackwell, hello. How do I become a member, guys?
Well, see, there's this button that you hit that says join,
and
then you select the $10 option, which gets you into the group chat.
It depends on if you're on a computer or a phone.
Yeah.
It's different. I'm pretty sure on most.
Has he figured it out? That just popped up. Remember right there? Did he figure it out?
I don't think he did. Who's and Donuts is a new member.
Okay.
And Donuts figured it out.
Bro, let's go, baby.
Good to see you, and Donuts. Too long, and Donuts. But Andy, if you want to become a member, I believe there is a join button on most phones now. I know there is on iOS. And if you're an Android guy, we probably don't want you to be a member anyway.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude.
What are you, nuts?
It's kind of rough.
Yeah, Android.
Yeah, it's,
AI and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's probably quicker and easier on a computer, but hit the join button. There's 2 levels of membership on this here Monty program.
Hey, Monty.
For $1.99, your comments get highlighted in red. For $9.99 a month, you get into our members only content, which gets you into the Instagram Monty Show chat group, which is phenomenal. Unfortunately, OG Gary's in that group. His shoe game is weak as his shoe game. You're Gary, for being a fan of Poughkeepsie State, your shoe game's weak.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
And as an Oregon fan, I would think that you would be a Nike guy and your shoe game would be better. But understanding that you're a fan of Tarleton State, I totally understand. I get it. But
okay.
Listen, San Jose State has some cool colorways. Why don't you have them? NIL is how they should make their money, and that's it. There is no stop to this stupidity. Next, they will want 2% of sales of Coke in the stadium and 10% of computer sales. They will. And they will ask for it. Who's the kid that's going to be like, hey, now I want a suite for my parents and my family, but then my frat brothers need their own suite. I also need field passes. I'm also going to need a completely unlimited budget for gear and swag. And then I'm going to need a percentage of the gate as well. I get a $50,000 bonus for every game that's sold out. How long until contracts are actually starting to be negotiated with these players?
Yeah. Soon, I think.
James, I don't clean lice out of Mike's mullet. Now you guys are on a first name basis. I clean his pool and mow his yard. Get your facts straight.
Wow.
So I'm just curious, is mowing his yard, is that a euphemism for combing his mullet?
So get your facts straight.
And other things. Brandon Butler, the only people who are going to benefit are going to be the agents with 15-year-olds. I would agree with that. John Dry, Texas Tech has the best meat. Monty, you ain't lived until you've had a man's meat in Lubbock.
Monty, you want to compare meat?
Lubbock. Lee Jensen, if you want kids to give a reward for going to the postseason, just guarantee that they can finish their degree for free.
I
mean, that's a hell of a reward. Shooter, Texas. How did you not change football coaches in Waco? How? Most parents dream of their kids going to college for free. Even better if they can go on a football scholarship and get a few thousand in NIL too. That should be more than enough. So the NCAA is going to make billions. And that damn kid is getting a free scholarship. What's the average value? Let's see. Hey Siri, what is the average value of a college scholarship in the United States?
The amount of a scholarship varies greatly. It could be a few $100s, or it could pay for your entire college cost. Only about 1 in 8 college students has won scholarships, averaging about $4,200. This answer is from savingforcollege.com.
Saving Siri. Hey Siri.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Hey Siri, you're beautiful, and I'd like to hit that. You want to smash?
I don't see a smash in your contacts.
Daddy!
What is the average cost of college? Okay. Average cost of college tuition.
United States of America.
USA.
Bald Eagles.
1776, 4 more years. $42,162 at a private college. $23,630 for out-of-state tuition at a public university. Okay, let's go with 23,000. And let's get wild.
Yeah.
Let's get wild. 23,630 times 4. So let me get this right. They're making billions of dollars off of these kids. But we should give them, they should be satisfied with $94,520 if they stay all 4 years and a few $1,000s in NIL. So let's call it $100,000. We're going to make billions off of your athletic ability, and you're going to get $100,000 of our billions. Don't you take that extra chicken sandwich off that table, boy.
Yeah, that seems legit. That seems fair. Seems like it's in alignment.
And we'll give you 1 pair of socks every month.
Sure you won't.
Do you see how nonsensical the equation here is?
Yeah.
They make billions, but we only get $100,000.
But have fun. Have fun, Jimmy. Go get that scholarship. Go get that education.
So if nobody played college football, how much would the old white hairs make?
Much less. By the way, if you didn't have athletics making you money, would the old white hairs be a little more liberal with how they hand out scholarships because they need students of their universities? Because they need enrollment, right?
Yeah. Giggity. I don't care why people care so much about 18-year-old kids' financial situations. Or I don't understand why we're going so far out of our way to try to oppress 18-year-old
Yeah, why do
kids.
we have to be like, yeah, they're 18 years old. Put them down.
Fuck them.
like, why?
Why?
Well, like, what have they done?
What is it that we're so upset about? Because it's inarguable that the NCAA is making money off of a kid's athletic ability.
Yes.
And then they put that athletic ability in a video game and made more money off of it and wouldn't give any of it to the kid. And you want him to make $100,000 while everybody else is out there making millions. That doesn't, I don't know about that. Giggity, all about power and control over the little guy. I think that's what it is. Because I think academics like to put their thumbs on people.
Yeah.
You know, let's see. James Littles, out of that 100,000, how much is spendable? As I said before,
A great question, right? Like,
not $94,520 of it. Because again, I think people have this belief, well, Monty gave him a scholarship. He's living fine. He doesn't see a penny of money in his pocket. Do you understand that they don't get a check for their scholarship?
no.
They get a stipend. So let's call it out of that 94,000. What are they getting? $5,000 maybe? And then that doesn't, so let's pretend that covers books.
Uh-huh.
And let's pretend that covers room and board. What is he eating on? What is he paying his cell phone bill on? We know football players who can't afford a car.
Literally. And I'm talking about like grade A, A1 names.
Can't afford a car. And how far is $100,000 taking you in this world? If
Not
you
far.
got all of it.
Not far.
And then, yeah.
I was looking
crazy
at, just on that note, I was looking at, what the average salary for the middle class,
The middle class.
right? The middle classes by state. And it's all like the middle class is barely getting over $100,000 now. Like, and it's just not enough. Like,
not in this world.
like,
not when fucking Five Guys is $24 a person on average.
In Utah, the average middle class working person is making $115 a year.
Yep.
Like,
I agree.
That's not enough.
UW fan Jim Roma Dunze. Profit, not revenue sharing, is fine, but it should be evenly split, and NIL should be based on talent. NIL should be, you should get paid. Again,
Bro, I disagree. I don't think it should be based on talent. It should be based on your ability to get a job done. It should be based on your ability to negotiate a deal, right? Again, like the best business people in the world are not great athletes, but they're great business people, right? So the phenomena of a great kicker. A kicker in football is not the most talented guy in the field. But if his name is Dicker the kicker, that's brandable. That's sellable. Like, you have something there. You know what I mean? Like, so it's super situational, and it's your ability to close a deal. So it shouldn't be based on your 4.3 40 time, or or if you can, if you're Joe Milton and you can throw a football 80 yards or whatever. Like, that's not what it should be based on.
No. You should get what you can earn. Mike, why are we doing, are you really making Pink Floyd references? How can you get your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You don't know.
Hey, look here, man.
You don't know that reference.
Nope. Old white hair is out here on the show today. This just in. We don't have enough scholarship money for me to know that reference.
No, we don't have enough scholarship money to have lights on in the studio. How do you not know that reference?
It's before my time, bro. That is before my time.
Do you know who Abraham Lincoln is?
Yeah.
Then how do you not know that reference?
Dude, come on.
Are you serious? You don't know? Oh, my God. Hey, Siri.
You and your mom are hillbillies.
How can we have any pudding if we don't eat our meat?
If you think it could be serious, ask me to call emergency services.
I get it.
See, she doesn't know it.
Hey, Siri. How can we have pudding if we don't eat our meat?
If you think it could be serious, ask
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
or someone you trust.
Can you just play along with me, honey, please?
No.
Honey, baby.
Come on, man. What is we talking about?
Honey, baby, can you just... It's a Pink Floyd song, Jake. It's
Okay, well, again, I'm not some Pink Floyd savant.
I should, Mike Smith, call emergency services. The fact that he don't know who fucking Pink Floyd is.
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing, but we show up.
Right.
We show up, but I don't know what we're doing.
We show up.
I don't. Boyd Lake, my grandkids know that reference.
Yeah, well, I'm not your grandkids, dude.
No, you are not, are you?
Why don't you fuck off?
Marge. Anyway, I just want people to understand.
I just want my scholarship.
Oh my God. I have failed you as a parent. Still haven't seen The Godfather. Don't know.
Where is the Italian?
Just add it to the list. Not seen The Godfather. Virgin. Doesn't know who Pink Floyd is.
Back to the top.
Do you even live a life?
Yellow Brick Road to
Yes,
college
Andy.
life.
Pink Floyd's a legendary band. Are you serious?
Okay, again, dude, I know who Pink Floyd is. I'm
Listen,
not
bro.
a savant in their
Listen.
music, bro.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand.
Monty?
Monty. You got You got to understand.
Monty,
Monty?
we can't do Caps Lock Friday if Jakey Two-Holes doesn't know what Pink Floyd is. It's not possible.
Monty, he's a virgin. He listens to Drake and Taylor Swift, and forearm strengthens to quick, who's the rock band you like?
Foo Fighters.
And he forearm strengthens to Nickelback. He don't know who Pink Floyd is, but you run some Nickelback, he'll get up and start gyrating the hips. 21. I mean, you've never seen fluid hips like Jakey Tools listening to Nickelback.
That's right, T.
Cam Harrison, my nieces know who Pink Floyd is.
I know. Okay, again, clarification here. I know who Pink Floyd is.
Cam Harrison.
I don't know the song.
Cam Harrison, Pink Floyd is classic. Dakota Tubbs, we don't need no education. I don't know the reference either, Jake.
Thank you. See?
Caleb's supporting you. It's J2H or no. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. Exactly right. Boyd Lake, J2H can be saved. It's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. He's 31 and he's never he has never broken the procreatorial veil. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows who Pink Floyd is. No one knows their songs.
That's my precise point. Thank you, OG Gary.
Jakey, we're millennials. We stick together, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no reset.
We all know that JFK wasn't a real person.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen. When my shoulder hit my mom's inner thigh, that's when the world started. That's recorded history.
It is.
It's facts. Go check it out.
We did what we did.
1993, mother. That's when recorded history began being recorded for history and stuff. Ask an old head who Thomas the Tank is. He won't know.
Thomas the Tank.
Do you think any of those white hairs stealing these kids' money, you think they've seen one single episode of Blue's Clues?
Nope.
But them motherfuckers will sing you, we don't need no bricks in my pudding meat. They'll just sing it like it's no problem.
Because shit's going good.
And then I got to tell them, like,
Money?
God damn, listen, Clayton, you president at University of Dick.
I just want my chicken sandwich.
Can you go listen to some Lollipop from Lil Wayne?
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
Okay. I should stop. John Dry, I believe Texas Tech's NIL can compete with Bama's NIL. Okay. I mean, drug use this early in the morning is something that many people have tried. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. John.
That's right.
But, I'm not going to judge you. OG Gary, class of 91. You were born in 1991. That's the year I graduated high school. Jake's a Mormon. He doesn't listen to rock and roll, and he doesn't go to dances. UW fan Jim, Jake, I agree, but talent usually equals marketability.
Well, okay, fair, but also, you're the same guy who says Rome, don't call me Jim Adunze, isn't fast.
Jim Rome. Andy says only ignorant mofos with birth certificates after 1990.
I guess, dude. I guess. By the way, by the way, just a quick question, Andy. Andy,
yeah.
Have you found the join button yet? Since I'm so ignorant.
Okay, here we go.
Have you found the join button yet?
Look, I might not know who Pink Floyd is, but I can find a join button. Okay. And listen, I may have never used dial-up IFP and America Online and stuff.
Well, yeah, AOL, man.
But you got to understand something. Us millennials are dealing with anxiety and depression. That Zoloft shit is for real, bro.
Fucking A.
I saw Wolf of Wall Street. I know what
I want my Quaaludes.
I know what Quaaludes are.
I want it.
How is it that you've never seen The Godfather, but you've seen Wolf of Wall Street like 100 times? Oh, man. You want to talk about an American film that is legendary?
Donnie.
I mean, The Dark Knight is the stuff of legends.
Yes, it is, dude.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
It's fine. Dakota Tubbs. Jake's musical deficiency is an indictment on his parenting. Hundo P.
Simple taste.
Hundo P. Richard McDonald says Jake.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron Wilson. Texas Tech will be fine moving forward. We just need more wins on the field. How do you rate BYU next season, guys? Well, the way that I do that is I wait until next season and then I rate them.
I think they are 8 wins.
I think Jake Retzloff is going to have a breakout season.
Yeah.
And my feeling is, could be wrong. My feeling is that by the time it's said and done, Jake Retzloff will have one of the best seasons in the history of BYU football. Now, speaking of history, did you guys, I heard Jim Romadunze on The Score in Chicago the other day. Just let me ask you what you think of this. How many yards do you think it will take to become the all-time leading receiver of the Chicago Bears?
I don't know.
All-time for a career Chicago Bear.
8,000?
5,000.
Yeah, I mean, they've never had
I said 5,000.
Dude, it's the Bears. They're a running back organization.
5,000 yards.
Never had a prolific quarterback.
And I believe it's 5,300 yards is the all-time mark. And Roma Dunze's like, they ask him. And he's like, wow, that's it? Yes, that's it. That's all. And you're worried about BYU next season.
Man, I should have the all-time record for the Bears receiving yards, franchise record, inside of my rookie contract.
It's a panic. Jake can only listen to Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Yeah.
Mood music is J2H. Exactly right.
Right.
One pill makes you smaller. One pill makes you larger. And that one that mother gives you doesn't do anything at all. Oh, no, we're moving. Class of 91 here also. Oh, God.
You are not class of 91.
He is.
No.
And Donuts, is Jake a Backstreet guy? Yes, he is.
No.
Bye. Britney Spears, yes or no?
No.
OG Gary, yes. December 18th, 1991. When's your birthday, Jake?
I'm not commenting on this. I can't be seen to associate with someone who has like 80 teams he's a fan of.
People don't pay to see Alex Smith pass econ. That's exactly right.
I mean, that's facts, dude.
That's exactly right. I will when my laptop junior isn't on the phone. There you go. Exactly right. Mike Smith, don't belittle potential members that give you money. Yeah.
Well, money.
Don't get pissed off because your music knowledge is lame.
Listen.
You're
not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. I mean, it shouldn't be an indictment. I hate Metallica.
I actually don't hate Metallica.
Yes, you do. Stop.
We listen to Metallica all the time.
Stop it. Thomas the Tank Engine, 2 holes is 100% a Percy.
No.
Capazzo. I blame all of Jake's musical and movie shortcomings on Monty. All of my kids have listened to Pink Floyd and know their songs. I'm a terrible parent. Mike Smith, the Lambo scene from Wolf of Wall Street cracks me up every time.
Iconic.
Yeah, dude, the Kundoosh is one of the best Lambos ever.
I'm sorry, the Kundoosh?
Did you see they brought back the Countach?
Yeah.
And I actually really like it.
I like it a lot. I think they did a good job with it.
I'm a fan. 6-6 for BYU. I doubt that. I think
they're better than that.
Do you really think Jake will be the starter? I do. It's Jake's job to lose.
Yeah.
He is in command of the offense. His teammates love him. He has a relationship with the coaching staff. Bohannon was dealing with this shoulder thing all spring.
And he's talented, bro. Like,
and
he's a good player.
Jake Retzloff has best quarterback in the country talent. It's as simple as that.
Well, he sucked at the end of last year, man.
And again, I go back to, and people laugh at me when I say this. He didn't throw an interception all spring long. Jake Retzloff is ready. He is able. He is capable. It is Jake's job. Mike Smith, BYU gets its first win in the Big 12 and they go bowling. I hope you're right. That's not all that many yards. Thanks, Boyd. Thank you. Here I was confused.
What are you gonna do if Jim Romadunze gets the receiving record inside of 3 seasons?
Do you guys see this curvature right here in my forearm? It will be out here.
Are you going to fly the Bears flag every week this year?
Capazzo, the Y will be mid next season. We'll see. Mid of the top 25. So you're thinking like 12, 13 then. I think that's could be
a fair assessment.
BYU is playing some former Pac-12 teams, so that should be an easy win against those teams. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Graduated in 1991. I'll be 51 on May 12th. Okay. Tanner Plummer. Sup, guys? What did I miss? Nothing. Boring-ass show today. Dakota Tubbs. Hey, now. Was anyone televising Alex Smith and Econ? People would definitely bet on college athletes passing tests if they could. God, they would bet on how many dingleberries an offensive lineman has in his crotch.
Yeah, where's Ipe?
Where's Ipe? Why do I deal with this? James, hello, Tanner. And Donuts, Sataki's last year. If they go to a bowl game, it's not his last year, and I think they will. Are you guys predicting they won't go to a bowl game? I think they will. There's a reason Burton transferred. Jake is ready to lead BYU. I think it's his job. Richard McDonald, I'm down for JuBU. I think Jake seems the BYU. I think Jake seems like a great kid, excited to see what he can do.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate you saying that, man. See what I did there?
Nobody would. Are you Jewish?
No.
But you are a virgin.
Yeah.
I love Gary Bowe, but he does struggle to throw downfield. Such a classy kid. Wish he could make it to the NFL. Probably has a solid coaching career ahead. I would agree with that. Stepanik, April 4th, 1967 is my birthday. God damn. 67 was a hell of a year or a vintage. Oh, wow. Loner phone. Enter Sandman. Ask him who sings that.
Yeah, it's Metallica, dude. Come on.
It's not. And he said, enter the Sandman. It's not enter.
Yeah, again.
Dev MCC, what's the Pink Floyd? Is that like pink eye? Yeah, when somebody farts on your pillow.
We're not talking about Costas eye, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Costas eye. Keep the music going. I'm predicting 7-5 for Brigham Young. Okay. Now we're kind of out of time. So let me ask you about Five Guys getting crushed. How much are you willing to pay per person at fast food joints? Now, we have well documented. We don't generally eat out anymore.
Yeah.
Don't eat much fast food at all.
Yeah.
Five Guys is getting crushed. A guy on TikTok showed his receipt for a cheeseburger, fries, and a drink. It was $24. $6 for a small fry, $12 for a burger. Too expensive? What are your thoughts?
I'm cool with it on the burger. They're definitely making money on that burger, but I'm cool with it on the burger because the burger, I've literally never been disappointed in a Five Guys burger.
I would agree.
There's never been a time where I'm like, this just sucked today. No, it's always good. It always lives up to it. The problem you get into at Five Guys is, when you order a fry and then you order a drink and then you order a shake and then like it adds up quickly.
God forbid you could take a date there.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's like the tough thing with Five Guys is the burger is what powers their business. Their burger is consistent and reliable and is the sole reason that their high pricing is palatable. But I got to tell you, in a time in our world, and again, I'm not trying to be a victim here, but in a time in our world when everything is more expensive, like the play is to go cheaper. The play is to do the opposite. Hey, we're going to, and I'm sure they can come up with something, but like, hey, for this month, we're selling, $5 burgers. We're selling whatever, some type of something. And because the issue is like at the lower cut, the McDonald's, Jack, Burger King, Wendy's cut, you do get disappointed. You do. Like on a regular basis, you get disappointed in their food. And again, I understand it's drive-through fast food. So like, okay, cool. I get it. But that's the difference. So what are my thoughts? My thoughts are, once in a while, I'm willing to go to Five Guys and pay for it. It is not bad if I'm just getting a burger and one fry, and that's pretty much it, right? Because they oversell you on fries. They give you a ton of fries that you're never going to finish to make it.
The
feel
fries at Five Guys are a meal on their own.
Yeah. So
but I'm not willing to pay $24 for fast food anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm not willing to do it. I'm hoping that Jack stays where they are, but I got to be honest with you. In Vegas over the weekend, Jack was incredibly disappointing to me.
The problem for you is that your standards are high because of Mrs. Monty's cooking and what you eat on the regular.
Right, and I'm a pimp.
So you're like, man, this wasn't this good this time. And it's like, dude, it's Jack in the Box. Like, what you're getting. Like, it's still like, I thought Jack was good for what it was.
But this is the conundrum with paying $20 an hour.
Yeah, well, that's true.
The food cost is going up. Because you don't really think that the business owner is going to suck that up.
No.
He's not letting you put a knuckle in.
No, there was a study that came out earlier in the week, that said, I believe it was Chick-fil-A, Shake Shack, and a couple other chains have already raised their prices 20%, I think it was, or something like that, to accommodate the baseline minimum wage for fast food workers now.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is Shake Shack's already expensive.
Yeah.
I think that when I look at food, when somebody says, "Hey, where do you want to go to eat?" Like right now, it's the corner bakery for a turkey cranberry sandwich.
Yeah, well,
because at least I'm going to pay. If I'm not going to get a reach around, dude, I'm getting a good sandwich.
Yeah,
I know I can get a good sandwich. According to the Wall Street Journal, Chick-fil-A led all fast food restaurants with a 10% rise in prices across the state of California.
Yeah.
Starbucks, Shake Shack, Chipotle, and Taco Bell also reported price hikes. One Fair Wage, which is a nonprofit organization, is calling for a $20 minimum wage for all California employment sectors and will soon push that nationally. And I'm telling you, no. The answer is no. We, on some level, I understand that fast food workers get their ass handed to them on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But where does this end?
Yeah, well, it ends with Americans just not doing it anymore. Where it ends at, like if you legit think about it, you can eat for a week on like $25. You spend $15 on ground turkey or chicken. And then the rest of that's on rice and veg. And I'm not even kidding. You can probably do it for $25-$30 at most, like obviously significantly less. And that's why I say I would agree. It is a struggle. You have to actually I really feel like, for a lot of people, you actually now have to seriously budget and seriously track and really, really be.
Because what did you say earlier? $100,000 ain't $100,000 anymore.
And it's crazy. When you start thinking about it in less money than that, you think about what a $60,000-$70,000 salary used to be in this country, maybe 10 years ago, not even that long ago.
Giggity needs a clarification. I'm sorry. Did I hear Jake say he eats chicken, rice, and veg?
Not veg.
Oh,
vegetables.
One letter. I'm really struggling with this. I think when I look, yes,
$60,000, $5,000. If you're making $5,000 a month before taxes,
take home, or before taxes.
If you're making $60,000-$70,000 a year, which is, I believe, $5,000.
Let's go 70,000.
Yeah, what's 70,000?
Let's call it 30% tax. You are taking home $52,500,
which is $6-ish a month.
Divided by 12 is $43.75 a month.
So rent in a 1-bedroom in Utah that's reasonably nice is anywhere between.
Let's call it $1,700.
Yeah, I was going to say $1,500 to $1,800. So call it $1,700.
Okay, you're down to
car payment's $500. With today's rates,
$2,175.
Okay, food for the month is, let's call it $300.
Ooh.
Gas is probably going to be $200, assuming a commute. assuming you commute.
Okay. $1,675.
Student loans, $500.
$1,175.
The credit card you're chasing, $800.
Yeah, that is what is the average? Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even want to get into that. Average credit card payment. Oh my God. USA. The average credit card payment is $430 a month.
Oh.
You're down to $745.
So explain to me how any of us are supposed to thrive. Like you can bitch and moan and lean on millennials and or as much as you want to, bro. And a lot of that is justified. Totally agree with a lot of the things that people say about my generation. But what you're not going to say is that we got a free pass on anything financially. We didn't get the $900 mortgage. We didn't get that cheaper enrollment money. Like we don't get that stuff. And that's the hard part.
And I struggle with this is what I always bitch about Starbucks, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
The cool hip stuff.
Yeah.
It's a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it over the weekend, Mrs. Monty and I. Do you understand that as soon as you load your coffee up, it's a milkshake? It's not. Wow, that was loud. You gonna be all right? You gonna be all right over there?
Me?
That wasn't me.
Okay. All right.
That was not me.
Okay.
That was not me.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is, when you start loading up your coffee, that's a milkshake.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you are just not capable of making coffee at home, maybe you shouldn't be drinking coffee.
But like I think about like $745 left to do anything you enjoy.
But what about basic utilities? What about your car insurance?
Mm-hmm.
What about your cell phone bill?
In there,
cell phone bill
in there.
I mean, most apartment complexes now provide some level of internet.
Yeah.
But what about internet?
Yeah.
What about
TV?
What about think about that, man. The stuff we all take for granted?
Mm-hmm.
No, dude. Most people can't afford that. Most people can't afford that.
To which I say, that's why you have to have dual income now to be okay. You have to have dual income to be good.
But you can't always be trying to one-up your neighbor.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I take a lot of stuff for granted. Aaron Wilson, long live the ghost of Gumby. I still don't.
Careful with the emojis, bro.
Yeah. Steve Stepanek, I don't care for Chick-fil-A either.
Nah.
Big Blue Chick-fil-A sucks. Big Blue Horses. All of this ends with a mass depression, the likes of which no one working today has ever witnessed. Did you guys see that thing that came out yesterday? Jake sent me a story about 1 in 4 people believe they're going to get laid off.
Yeah, you worried about getting laid off right now?
Man.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, like, anymore, and this is something that I'll definitely be teaching my kids one day. You have to have a skill set that can't be replaced. Like, you have to be able to, and again, whether you get that skill set through education or you get that skill set through the fire, if you will, trial and tribulation, you got to find it and you got to get it. And you got to get to a spot where you can't be replaced. And that's how you avoid layoffs. Like back in the day, we went through it.
You better learn to sell. I say it. I make all of my money in sales. Yes, we do a talk show. I make all my money in sales.
Yeah.
And you better have life skills that translate into scratch, because if you don't know how to sell something, you're probably not long for the financial prosperity part of life.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not. Big Blue Horses. I'm old enough to remember the Carter years. Ugly, ugly stuff. 70s and 80s, man. And donuts. Monty Show membership is still a bargain. Yes, it is. You can afford it. You don't need that extra burger. You're eating at McDonald's, not Five Guys. Monty Show membership. Mike Smith, Carter years and waiting in line for gas. Exactly. Capazzo, things we take for granted. Capazzo, my kids are doing just fine. One works at Walmart, one does tires, one drives trucks. They all make good money and seem to enjoy every day. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. I hope that people, I am all for, and I tell you guys every day that we talk about stuff like this, I am all for you doing your thing, but you better be aggressive about it. I think a lot of times we want life to be a spectator sport and stuff to just come and happen for us. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. And if you're somebody that is, and I say this about people that are in recruiting and human resources, dude, you're going away. It used to be that if you were a recruiter, you were getting paid. Those days are over. Recruiting and human resources are largely AI now.
Yep.
And they're being pushed out. If you are not somebody that is in a revenue generating position, you're in real trouble, dude. And it's one of those things where, like, I was just looking at Amazon stock today because Amazon reported massive earnings. You better understand how to leverage e-commerce. You better understand how to sell something. You better understand how to be a revenue generator. If you're not going to open up your own business, my guy, you better be a salesperson.
Yep.
And you better be a good one. And you better be open to critiquing and learning, because this is not that there's a lot in this world that's great. We'd all rather be golfing today, but we're all working today. Today, my job is to sell and close deals. That's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, we do a talk show. Yes, this is, well, no, Monty, you're a talk show. No, I'm a sales guy. You better learn to sell and close business. Whether you are a whatever kind of guy. Amazon drivers aren't going away. UPS drivers, FedEx drivers, they're not going away.
Because there's a need there.
But dude, if you're somebody that's like, oh yeah, I'm a recruiter at a tech company, your job's in jeopardy. I hope people are self-effacing about what this world is becoming. You know, like it is.
Yeah.
It's wild to me that 20 years ago, would any of us have believed that we were never going to need postage stamps? Or that we would never, I haven't written a check in I don't know how long. We don't write checks anymore. We don't use the mail anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have to leave the house. Quite literally, you don't have to leave the house if you don't want to. It'll all come to you. You got to evolve.
Yes.
And I think we're too scared to evolve.
Yeah.
Capazzo, it's all about selling yourself, just not on the street corner. Good point. Don't be walking the strut. Jim Romandunze, it's all about rent and mortgage. The prices are ridiculous, and the banks love the interest on all the debt. The problem is, did anybody, I follow real estate trends. Did you guys see that the emerging market in mortgage right now is the variable rates, the ARM, the adjustable rate mortgage?
That piped so many people back in the day.
That's back. And we were talking to a friend of ours over the weekend. Bought a new house. When they sold their house, they had to give a concession to the buyer so that the buyer, a $15,000 write down, so that the buyer could afford to buy down their interest rate. The good news is that when this person went to buy their new house, it was a new build, the builder gave them $20,000 to buy down their rate. But it was an adjustable rate, and now, a year from now, they're going to have to refi, or their rate's going to be whatever the market rate is. It's wild to me.
Yeah.
And I just cannot tell you that if you are somebody that's looking at a mortgage and you want an adjustable rate mortgage, you probably shouldn't be buying that house.
Yeah.
I am not a believer in adjustable rate mortgages. I'm not. You're already getting piped on mortgage insurance for the greater majority of loans nowadays have mortgage insurance, PMI. It's called personal mortgage insurance. Adjustable rates are terrifying to me. Now, I'm a guy that's got a 3-point rate. I'm a guy that has a $1,500 mortgage payment. And I probably got into that situation with weeks to spare when I bought my house. Weeks to spare because the market changed dramatically. Like it's just one of those things where it'll be interesting to see what happens. Giggity. Variable rates are going to kill people.
Yes.
But and I just maybe you should be renting and not buying.
I don't know why people are like, yeah, renting is for peasants. Renting is a bad option.
Well, what people don't understand is that they want to say, well, renting means you're just giving that money away. Partially true. But would you rather be renting at, let's call it $2,000 than having a mortgage that is, because you're not getting in anything probably for $450, $500. Let's just say the great state of Utah.
Yeah.
If you're two single kids who are shacking up and let's say you buy a $450,000 townhouse, that's probably a $3,000 mortgage payment with an adjustable rate. So would I rather be paying $2,000 in rent or constantly worrying about refining my mortgage after a year and paying $3,000 on a 6.5% loan?
And
come on.
I might also point out that maybe it's not for everybody to have the liability on their credit. Like maybe it's not for like everybody to be like, yeah, I need to get a house on my credit as soon as I can. Like, I understand that obviously, diversifying your credit and showing that you have that level of responsibility is important. That's going to help your score long term. But without ever having owned a home in my life, a year from now, after I've done some things, I'll still be pushing 800. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can still have pretty elite credit without owning a home.
And you guys understand, and I was looking for the source of this article, it was Bankrate, that in the 50 largest metro markets in the United States of America, it is now more financially savvy to rent than buy for a first-time buyer.
Yeah.
So if you've never owned a home before, it is better off for you financially at the moment to rent than to buy in the 50 largest metro markets in the country. I'm not talking about real estate portfolios. I'm a big believer that if you can get into investment properties, especially multifamily units, you should absolutely do that.
Yeah.
If you can have an Airbnb, if you can have diversification, great, do it. But if you are 30-year-old Jimmy and 29-year-old Jenny, and you two are thinking about buying your first place, it's probably not the right time.
Nope.
There are going to be very few scenarios where that's going to be financially the right decision for you. You're going to have to be significantly liquid. You're going to have a significant down payment. You're probably, I think CNBC yesterday had a story about, or maybe it was Inman. Somebody had a story about how most first-time buyers who go conventional will probably need 35% down.
I mean,
I said 35% down.
Who's doing that? Why would I do that?
And again, the average first-time home buyer price, I think, and I'll double-check this fact as well. I'm pretty sure the average first-time home buyer is $400,000. Average first-time home buyer price, I think, is the median is $410,000 right now.
Okay, 35% of 410
is wild, bro.
That's over six figures.
410 times 35% is $143,500.
Who the hell is doing that? Can I just ask that? Why would I? Why would I say, yeah, sure, I want this property. Let me go ahead and pull out $143,500 to go ahead and buy that house when I can keep my liquidity, rent that very same house for probably $300 less than it would cost to own it, and be chilling.
And the other thing that you have to remember is Why are banks requiring that much down payment? Because median incomes, median credit scores, credit card debt, credit card defaults are all up. Interest rates are up. You can't afford to buy that house and pay that mortgage if you don't put down 35%, which means you can't afford to buy the house.
Which, again, and this is what I've said for a couple of years now, I don't love the idea that in our culture in the U.S., buying a house is like this thing. Like, hey, Jimmy, you're going to grow up and you're going to go to college and then you're going to get your
It's not the American
starter
dream
home.
anymore.
Like, that's not the world we live in anymore. That nonsense died in the 2000s. That is over with.
Yeah.
Like been done. And that's what's hard is like, I feel like, and it's not everybody, not painting with a broad brush, but I do think there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, man, I have to get this house and like, we got to do, and I'm like, dude, like the ultimate value proposition right now is flexibility, the ability to do and move when you need to.
How many people do we know in our lives? Oh, my mom died. I got her house. Oh, my
countless.
Like the hand-me-down house. If you live in New York, Connecticut, Illinois, certainly California, Seattle, the most expensive markets in the country, you're not buying a house unless somebody's dead because it's so expensive.
And even then, you're not buying the house.
It's so expensive.
It's being given to you.
Yeah. Capazzo, I was 22 when my wife and I built our first house. Hated that PMI, but we have never looked back once on that choice. Never. Yes, and donuts. Homes will become generational and handed down, kind of a Euro model. It is. A loaner phone, AC breaks, renting. Oh, well, landlord will fix it. I'm telling you, home warranties are a massive scam. Massive scam. Shooter, Texas. Taxes and companies like BlackRock are killing the idea of hand-me-down houses, and Tom Selleck. Well, you're not wrong, though. Do you understand the private money that owns the rental market in this country?
How can you blame them?
I
want to
can't.
rip them, but how can you blame them? They have the money to buy the asset, and then they also have the money to hold the asset and rent it and make money on the asset. Why would they not?
When we worked in real estate in Arizona, we only dealt with investors, and the portfolios that real liquid stable investors have are, like we worked for a guy that had Hawaii, that had Park Avenue, like all the best properties, because those are the ones that make you the money. But how many people really have access to that?
Yeah.
It's like 1%. Travis, facts, Monty. My family can't comprehend this. I don't disagree. Monty, the rates are setting at the average. The sub 4% was held abnormally low for decades by 3 administrations trying to make themselves look good. I think the problem is we don't believe that 6% is a good mortgage rate.
Yeah, but it's not just the rate, though, right? Like, I always love this argument out of folks who bought in the 70s or 80s. Oh, well, the 6 or 7% isn't a big deal. Yeah, you know what is a big deal, though? It's not 6 or 7% on 200,000 for a 4-bedroom anymore. It's 6 or 7% on 600,000.
The 30-year fixed is at 8.024 today.
Okay, so what? So the average, what did we say it was? The average first time is 410. So if you do 8% on 410, right? 410 times 8%. All right, it's $32,800, bro. 8% on let's call it 250. We'll be generous and say 250 is 20,000. Let me get this right. We're trying to say that, hey, like, we need to normalize 8%. Okay, how about you normalize the price of the house we're selling, and then we can feel good about it.
And we've talked about this at length. This is the problem right now. People are like, Monty, we got to keep building houses. We're way short. We're not way short of $500,000 houses. We're not way short of $1 million houses.
Yeah.
We're way short of affordable housing.
Yeah, you want housing to come back? Get people in who can buy at the $300,000-$400,000 level. Feed that beast. I'm telling you, there are millions of us.
I think it is remarkable to me that we keep putting our head in the sand and being like, well, Monty, we got to build these housing tracts. Okay, well then price them at $300,000 and then build all the housing tracts you want. Well, that's not realistic. Profit's got to be okay. Well, then stop telling me we have a housing shortage, because we don't. We have an affordable housing shortage.
An agreed issue.
We don't have a housing shortage. We don't have a housing shortage. I live in Shoreline, Washington, only because my parents left me in the house.
And I don't begrudge folks for this, right? So
That's right. Left me in the house. That's right.
So, Jim, I'm not saying that because you fell into that makes you some bad person. I'm not saying that about people. But what I am saying is I don't want to hear folks who got into that position bitching about their situation. I don't want to hear, oh, well, life is
not
expensive.
That you are, Jim.
And not that you are, Jim, but like
we hear this all the time.
All the time. Oh my God, my life is so difficult. Like, man, I got to take care of this person or that person, or I got this or I got that.
A person I work with, her parents passed untimely. She is only 30 something years old. Her parents passed and left her there's a city in Arizona called Paradise Valley, and it's an exclusive community, $1 million homes. She can't afford the property tax. The house is paid off. She can't afford the property tax, but doesn't want to sell the house. And it's like, you have no idea how the world works. You have no idea how the world works. And this is somebody we do business with every day. No idea how the world works.
So it's
wild to me.
Let me get this right. So your parents left you, we'll just call it $1 million home, whatever the valuation is, $1 million home.
2.6 million, I think.
2.6 million as an example. Bro, you can't afford the property tax, so it doesn't go off in your head. Okay, well, cool. Why don't I liquidate that 2.6 million and then assess my situation? It doesn't seem that hard to me. If you can't afford property tax, move the property. It will get bought.
Or I know, work hard and earn money.
Yeah.
Work hard and earn money.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other beast.
It is a 3,300 square foot home. She is single. Totally get it. And she doesn't want to figure it out. But yet, what does this person do? She's always in the bars on the weekends. Can't afford the insurance, or can't afford the property tax.
What do you think the property tax, how does that work? So you pay that on a monthly after you get your assessment?
It is, well, what she wanted to do is she wanted to essentially pay it in a lump sum. She couldn't do that. So it's quarterly. I can't remember what she said it was, but it's expensive. It is.
And this person works in sales.
Yes.
And can't figure it out.
Can't figure it out.
Wild.
And it is one of those things where I'm just telling you guys, we know a lot of people that have fallen into these situations and just can't see the forest from the trees, right?
Now, I do agree that we have a problem in this country, starting with my generation, because Gen X was known for how hard they worked. Starting with millennials, we have an issue with how hard people don't work. People are not willing to work their ass off to go ahead and get what they're after. And the real problem is they don't have vision. They're not like, okay, cool. I just was given this home because my parents passed, and I know this tax assessment is going to be high, probably is going to push my ability. I need to get better. I need to become more proficient at what I do, and I need to work harder.
Her taxes would be about $14,820.
Okay, so that's
just on average.
So that's going to be like $3,000 a quarter,
$3,700 a quarter. And I just say to myself,
doable.
It's doable.
Literally, it's doable.
It's doable. It's doable.
But you won't put in the work, and
that's it right there.
And I know we gotta go, but this is one of my biggest pet peeves in life, mainly because of the path that I've taken. I don't know many people. I know maybe 3 people in my life who I've ever known who are willing to say, okay, I know that this is the number per month that I got to get done to just pay everything. But then this is the number that I need to live, to enjoy life, to be in a good spot. So how can I improve my ability? How can I work my ass off to go and get to that bigger number? It's amazing to me that someone would give you a home and you're just not willing to. You can't see it.
Figure it out.
Like how? Like come on.
David Ute fan gets the last comment today. Hard to make money in a place where the average wage doesn't keep up the cost of housing because we're out of whack.
Yeah.
The price of housing is out of whack. I think if you're gonna live in mom and dad's home that's $2.6 million and you got to pay $3,780 a quarter, you better find a job to make you $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
You better find it because that's what it's going to require. And everybody's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000. You better find a job that makes you that kind of bread.
And that needs to be after tax, by the way.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think it's really, I just thought it was very interesting when you see a study that 1 in 4 Americans are concerned about being laid off.
Yeah.
And it tells you how important this upcoming election is. It tells you how important consumer sentiment is. It tells you where we are in this country and in the climate. We have to really kind of look at where each and every one of us is. And are we really making decisions that benefit our lives? That's something that I think is hard for a lot of people to consider. I truly think so. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business every single day. You can chat with an injury attorney online. It won't cost you a dime. At The Advocates, you don't pay unless and until they win your case. Chat with an injury attorney 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.